12, why not to vote Democrat? I am Mark Stewart Greenstein. We've gone through 11. Thank you for those of you who've seen multiple ones of these, and you're still listening. So this may be the shortest of them, in part because there are so many excesses in policy that's been created or proposed that it's inexhaustible. So, in short, why Democrats' use of welfare, wrong use of welfare, is totally misplaced. Remember, it comes from feelings first and not thought, and it is aided by machinations about how they get more votes, and it's further aided by outside, typically corporations, that will help them stay in power. So here is the number one reason why Democrats' stance on welfare is bad, and it's because of corporate welfare. Okay? Corporate welfare perverts proper incentives. Along the way, they help the very people that Democrats used to not be especially fond of. Okay? Corporate moguls, big rich stockholders, they're the ones that gain the most from corporate welfare. Along the way, small business people, workers in small to mid-sized companies, they lose because when the big moguls have their way, they squash others. The epitome of this is licensure laws. Okay? When you see statewide business licenses, most of them are made and built up at the behest of established companies. They like things as they are. The biggest threat to established companies are new, independent, little companies that might dig into their business. Licensure laws keep many of them from growing and therefore hurt some of the best people trying to break out of corporate America or establish themselves no matter what in a small business. Okay. Hair braiding, for example. The licensing laws in many states require over 1,000 hours of training. Okay, that's expensive. Okay, paying at that point $25,000, $30,000 for this kind of training. Not too many people have that, so it keeps people working for bigger companies and not branching out on their own. Corporate welfare at the federal level is disgusting because they've been helping big pharma, big HMOs, big HOAs, big hospital chains to ultimately raise their prices, cut insurance, deductibles have gone higher. They even put people, at least they encourage them, to be on more drugs. Look at how this almost fake phenomenon about feeling depressed has led to, with some falsified information, has led to so many prescriptions aided by insurance and abetted by those who gain over and over and over from filling those prescriptions. How about the phenomenon of kids, boys usually, who are prescribed drugs for their rambunctiousness, okay? Just things that we didn't worry about before. Now you have to tame your kid, and you need Ritalin instead. ADD in the past was known as just being a boy. When some want to avoid the big pharma trap, they still legislate against those people from using herbal remedies, for example. Medical tourism has a disdain. FDA laws and importation laws keep both devices and good remedies from coming into the United States. And state after state engineers deals with big insurance companies, big MOs, big hospital choices. They raise prices and they restrict choices. More than healthcare. You've probably heard of it, pay to play. And that means of any business. If you're not putting into sometimes the coffers of your local politicians, you're not going to be listened to as much for legislation. All right, the final element of welfare is the poisoning of people's souls. When government replaces the family, which is what many Democrat policies lead to doing, families are worse off. Individuals lose their motivation when they can get free health care, free cell phones, nearly free rent, free shoes, and not just like low-end Walmart sneakers, but very nice Air Jordans. They don't need to be the individual dynamos that they're capable of. We didn't have that 80 and 90 years ago. And when Franklin Delano Roosevelt and the Democrats around him discovered just how good the dependency of people was when they offered more benefits, it became honey. It led to and still has an awful dependence. Even if the terrible story about America being systemically racist and keeping people down, what do you do about it? Well, the Democrat, their policy is keep you down and let the government protect you, instead of maybe the wake-up call that America's not so bad in the first place, and even if it were, you fight it with your individual skills. They don't want to do that because they still get mileage out of dependence. I hope this has been helpful. I am hoping that some of you would like to not just listen, but talk yourselves. We have forums. Please contact us at stewartforliberty.com. Please, in your own area, become a candidate next year. Okay? School board seats, town council seats, city boards, and yes, legislative assemblies. There are good seats awaiting good people. I'm headed out to campaign now, armed with my $2 bills for people who put out yard signs. Yes, a Jefferson, little signing the Declaration of Independence, my favorite type of bill. You get them. It's not buying your vote. It is paying for advertising. Very low, but I'm paying nevertheless. Be on the lookout for those of us who have latched on from all parties. Yes, I am still a Democrat. All parties who have candidates that want to change. I'm at stewartforliberty.com. Many other good candidates, all parties, at epic-party.us. Happy Labor Day. Have a great weekend. Thanks again for listening.